hate the fucking website so much because.
And which website is that?
The website is fucking TikTok.com.
Never heard of it.
Because so I had to make an account, right? I was forced to. I had no other choice. And the circumstances of which was that I had to share a meme. So I don't. How do I even? All right. So I saw a video in a YouTube like compilation or whatever. And it was a TikTok video, right? It had the, you know, whatever. And so then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just go find that video on YouTube like you usually do. And apparently this is the one goddamn TikTok that nobody has ever posted on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll just do a Google search and I'll find this TikTok and then
Did it have like the stamp on it with like the username?
Yeah.
So it should have been pretty easy to find on TikTok.
Right, that's what I thought. So I do a search and then I find it, but now TikTok is apparently doing this thing where it'll like show the TikTok in TikTok search results instead, if that makes sense.
Well, okay, so you're going at this point without an account, right?
Yes.
So basically what I've seen, because when I get the links ready for the nonsense that I show on this show, I am doing it on my laptop and I'm not logged in there. So I always have to get the name of the accounts because they won't let you search for individual videos. If you're not logged in, you can only search and go and access like accounts, assuming they're public, obviously. And then you can find all the person's videos that way.
Okay, well, I didn't have that information.
Right.
Okay, so all I had was a wall of TikToks related to the keywords that I typed into Google.
Yeah, it's not how you do it.
Okay, well, so I'm like, well, fuck, I can see the TikTok, and then it wouldn't let me click on it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let me click on it. It's like, oh, yeah, cool, you could see TikTok search results. That's cool. But if you want to see the TikTok, you have to make an account. So I had to make an account just to share this TikTok. And I can't even, it's an inside joke, so there's not even any point in, like, talking about what the TikTok was because it's irrelevant.
So wait, it was just like to share it with like your sister or something?
Yeah, I was trying to find it for my brother. And so that's what happened. And so now I'm on this fucking app. And then as soon as I shared it, I like closed the app. I was like, all right, cool. I'm done.
Yeah, but like you should get into it though.
No, I shouldn't. So then like the next day I was like, all right, fine. So then I start browsing. Because that's all you can do on the app is browse on it.
Well, like, you can make videos, but I doubt that's gonna happen.
But like, no, you have no choice but to like just have this, I don't know, like artillery strike, carpet bomb.
Is that what you're calling the For You page?
Sure. Of fucking videos of just absolute guttural nonsense.
Well, yeah, because you don't have any algorithm like it hasn't figured out who you are yet.
This almighty algorithm. So apparently the most, like, if it hasn't figured out who you are yet, it just decides to throw ass at you.
Well, yeah, it's just probably the most popular stuff.
It was just a lot of ass.
Oh, like literal
ass.
Okay.
Just like a lot of asses.
And you're complaining about this?
I was just like, so what's this app? Is this just nothing but ass? And so then I got suspicious that it was actually like listening to me, like it hooked into the microphone.
Yeah.
Because it kept showing nothing but ass. And then not only was it showing ass, it was showing videos where people said the word ass.
Wait, and I'm like, okay, are you like talking to yourself out loud about ass?
No, at that point, I was talking to my brother also. I was like, look at this app. This app is nothing but ass.
I feel like if Seinfeld was a show in this decade, this would be one of the bits.
Maybe. But it was pretty insane. The app was nothing but asses, and then people talking about ass and saying the word ass. I'm like, is this thing actually listening to me?
I
don't trust it.
Did you heart any of the ass videos?
I have not liked a single video.
Okay, we should maybe start doing that if you come across stuff that you like. You should search for things instead of just going through the For You page.
Okay, so then I started getting people dying.
Oh,
just like people just like falling off of shit and like cracking their skulls open.
That's always fun.
And I was like, okay, all right, so like this will be like I can get some jackass shit.
From ass to jackass.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, all right. That's okay.
Uh-huh.
And then I also got people getting their ass beat. So I'm like, okay, like is like the AI trained? Like it's finding like the neural links between the word ass. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
So it's showing ass, then it heard me say ass, so then it's got people saying ass, then it's showing me things related to jackass, then it's got people getting their ass beat.
I think it's a lot simpler than you're making it sound. I think that people really enjoy ass and people really enjoy watching other people get hurt. And so those are like what TikTok thinks are, you know, those are like the popular videos that you start off with a new account.
Yeah. And then then I started getting skateboard people getting their nuts hit.
Classic.
Yeah. But
those
I do
never get old.
I do want to go back to the ass for a second.
Okay, sure. Always up for that.
Because like so then it went from ass to like just like this feels like this is like softcore shit, where it's just like what kind of app is this? Like is there like a terms of service?
Oh yeah, stuff gets taken down all the time.
I can't imagine what the fuck gets taken down.
Honestly, like from what I've seen and like from people I follow, it's a lot of really like benign stuff, like stuff that shouldn't be taken down gets taken down.
I've seen like there's a lot of tits. There's a lot of tits and ass. Is what I'm driving at.
Right. So are you enjoying it so far?
I was just kind of confused. I wasn't expecting that.
I
was expecting a lot like just people like kind of doing like the dances or whatever.
You got to find the like the niche communities and stuff. Like you have to really you have to zone in on some stuff.
So then, okay, so here's the other thing. Do you remember how like whenever we were in high school and like Hot Topic would sell the Misfits t-shirts?
I'm sure they're still doing that.
Okay, no, hold on. Hold on. I think the thing that they're selling now is like Slipknot t-shirts.
Okay, well, they did that back then too.
Well, but I think it's replaced the Misfits shirt because the amount of Slipknot t-shirts that I have seen is astronomical.
Oh, so you're saying that Slipknot has now become like that classic band?
Yeah.
They're like retro.
Yeah. The amount of Slipknot t-shirts I've seen on my couple hours of attempting to use this app greatly outnumbers the amount of t-shirts I've seen in the wild by far.
Is there any connection between Slipknot and ass that you've come across?
I don't know. But let me tell you, there's a lot of hot girls wearing Slipknot t-shirts. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the atmosphere where Slipknot is cool all of a sudden.
Do you think they're actually listening to Slipknot, the band, or is it more of an aesthetic thing?
I don't know. I'm not going to gatekeep Slipknot.
I mean, I don't like Slipknot, so I don't care either way.
I don't, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. Like, so I think it's replaced the Misfits shirt as like, so like maybe it is like the fashion thing.
You know what I've seen a lot and I don't quite understand is I've seen a lot of kids wearing those Thrasher t-shirts, that like skateboarding magazine.
Does that still exist?
Apparently, like I've seen that a lot. Like working in a school, I've seen it a lot, and I've also seen it on like social media and stuff.
Well, they might sell that at like Target.
Oh, maybe.
You know?
That would make sense.
Like they sell like Vans t-shirts at Target.
Yeah, but Vans is more like, I don't know, Thrasher seems like more obscure, or at least it used to.
Maybe. Well, I thought Slipknot was like, you know, with the weirdo nu metal kid.
I mean, I think they're very, very popular, and they kind of always have been, right? As far as like that type of music goes.
In current year?
Well, no, I don't know. I don't keep up with like that sort of hard rock, like you said, nu metal type genre. But I don't know. I feel like they're a household name. You know, I feel like they're pretty up there. Like
if you saw somebody, if you saw a bunch of people wearing a Korn t-shirt, you'd be like, Korn, really?
You know, I feel like that's like similar level.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And Korn's very popular, unfortunately, but they are.
I don't know. Like I think as like a joke,
maybe
like Freak on a Leash.
I don't know. I mean, it's a joke to us, but you'd be surprised how many people like some of these bands, like unironically.
I think it's got something to do with the availability at Hot Topic.
I had this elsewhere in the notes, but this kind of like falls in line a little bit, like tangentially at least. So I'm going to bring it up now. Did you hear about the LA Angels and Nickelback?
No.
Okay, so basically I've been, and I'm not going to like talk on and on about baseball, but I've been following baseball this season. Again, I'm a lapsed fan and I've been kind of tuning in this season. And I follow the Pittsburgh Pirates, who it can be a struggle, right? Being a fan of that team. So in the beginning of the season, I'm like, okay, so let me have like a second favorite team that I can root for that's more competitive than the Pirates. And I landed on the Los Angeles Angels. They're pretty exciting. You know, they have some of the best players in baseball, and they got off to a really great start. They were in first place for like the entire first month of the season. And then recently they've really just like fallen off a cliff. They are on as of last night, it was a 13 game losing streak. Yeah. Which is the longest in franchise history. Oh, well. And Mike Trout, who is like the best player in baseball, was on during that stretch. He was on a career-long hitless streak. So it's really dire. Yeah. So I guess they've run out of like ideas on how to turn things around, because last night they decided that for every at bat that the Angels had, this was a home game. You know how like the players have walk-up music? So every at bat, the walk-up music was going to be Nickelback. For everybody on the team. And that was going to turn things around. They really thought that would do something? They thought that would do something. Maybe it's like some clubhouse joke or some inside thing, or whether they just think it's legitimate like pump up music. But the end result is that they lost again. So they've lost 14 in a row, and Nickelback did not end the losing streak. So it was supposed to be like a reverse jinx. Maybe. Does Nickelback have any, are they like fans of the Angels or something? I have not looked into it any further. They're Canadian. Yeah, they're Canadian. Huh. So that didn't work, unfortunately. It probably just irritated people in the crowd. Yeah. More than anything else. Now, see, if Nickelback t-shirts were popular, I'd be like, oh, that's ironic, right? Sure. Because Nickelback is seen as a joke for so long, right? Yeah, they're kind of like Smash Mouth in that same vein. Yeah. Yeah. But like Smash Mouth is different, where it's like so bad it's good. Where Nickelback was just like, oh, that's like some really bad cock rock, you know, like. So yeah, I don't know. So, but back to the fucking TikTok. Yes. Because all right, so then I'm getting skateboard in the nuts. You know, I'm still kind of getting ass. I don't know why. Are you not like interacting at all? Are you liking videos? Are you? No, I can even show you my profile. I have not liked or followed. Actually, I attempted to follow because I got the vocalist from the Bomb Pops popped up on my feed. I was like, I'll follow. That's strange. It is. So that's another reason why I don't trust this fucking app. I don't trust this fucking app. Even though I told it, I was like, it's like, hey, would you like to import your contacts into fucking TikTok? I'm like, no, leave me alone. Don't touch my shit. Every social media does that. I know, but I don't want this one to do it. I don't want any of the other ones to do it. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll follow her. You know, like, you know, that's somebody, you know, a personality that I know. But apparently that didn't work, because I checked today, and it says I'm not following anybody. So it's a garbage app and website. It just doesn't work. It's really not, though. I don't know what your problem is. Like, it's a fairly streamlined thing. Like, I don't. It's really bad. So then, like, I went on the desktop today because okay, so I haven't liked anything. Oh, desktop? My God. Well, because I was gonna, I had, all right, so on mobile, I bookmarked a couple things. What do you mean bookmarked? There's a bookmark button on the fucking app. Just heart it, just like it. But there's a bookmark. And then you have like your whole history of stuff that you've liked. Like, why would you not just do that? That's easier. I've never even heard of a bookmark button option. There's a bookmark button. Oh my God. So anyway. We sound like 2 decades older than we actually are trying to talk about this app. That's how I feel. That's how I feel on this fucking platform. It's bad. It's really bad. So anyway, I bookmarked a couple things because like, oh, okay, this is kind of audio like acceptable. Maybe I'll show you how my experience has been through a TikTok, right? I love that. Yeah. Right. Of course. And so I bookmarked a couple things, and apparently that's a feature that just doesn't exist on desktop. You should never be using TikTok on desktop. How am I supposed to? I'm recording on desktop. How am I supposed to get these fucking videos to play? You can like, I don't know, copy the link on mobile and like email it to yourself or something. That sucks. That's more boomer than what I was trying to do. But anyway. But also, as I'm on the site right now, and so like I go to my profile, and then I'm like,
okay, well, maybe it shows the bookmarks in the liked tab. And so I click on the like tab. It says something went wrong. You can't do that. It's like, okay, we'll hit refresh. Oh, something went wrong. All right. So it just doesn't work. The website just doesn't work. And I don't know how they can have a popular platform that just doesn't fucking work.
I mean, you've been on TikTok for what, a day, and you've encountered more technical issues than I think I ever have.
I don't know what to tell you. Oh, also, it was a pain in the ass to make my account. I made a username and I picked a password, and then I was like, okay, create the account, and then it's like, too many attempts, try that later. And I'm like, what? This is my first time. This is my first time. And so what that actually meant was, it was some kind of bad translation, apparently. It meant that I had too many characters in my password.
Oh.
It didn't mean too many attempts. It meant too many characters in my password. Because it's a Chinese spyware app.
Oh my God. Now you're falling for the Trump propaganda.
No. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust the numbers. I don't trust that it's not listening to me.
Wait, what do you mean you don't trust the numbers?
We've been through that. We're not going to go back to that.
Okay, the viewership. Yeah.
We've been through that.
You just don't think it's as popular as it is, and that's just not true.
I don't think that there are as many views on specific videos as there are.
Okay.
I don't think Google's lying about there being 1 billion downloads.
Right. Yeah, we don't need to rehash that.
So anyway, the videos I picked, I can't pull up because this is just a shitty app. Just a shit app. Bad for you. Sucks. But if you want to see some ass, if you want to see some ass,
to be the fun segment. You're really making it a downer.
If you want to see some ass, I mean, that's where you want to go.
You're still yelling. You want to see some ass? What is happening?
Okay, so all right. So I got people hitting the nuts with a skateboard, so that led to just like general skateboarding videos. I'm like, I don't really want to see that. I want to see people. I want to see people getting hurt on a skateboard. So like I skipped past those, and then I started getting cop videos. I'm like, no, get the fuck away from me. I don't want to see that shit.
Oh no.
And so then I started getting emo videos. I was like, okay, all right, that's okay. And so then that's kind of where I left it off.
Okay, all right. So you're trending in the right direction,
I guess.
I mean, I can suggest to you some good accounts if you want, like if you get into it. But.
Well, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if the follow button works. I genuinely don't.
Yeah, that's really weird. I mean, I've never actually logged in on desktop. All I've done is use the browser to pull up some videos, but like it doesn't seem like the ideal place.
But I mean, that's how I got to play them for the show. So it's like,
yeah. Yeah.
Today I went on desktop and I signed in, and it's like, oh yeah, we have keyboard shortcuts for playing videos. I'm like, that's great. Can I pull up a video? Nah.
I don't think I've ever seen the bookmark option.
All right, where's the fucking app? Where is it? It's right below the comments. You can even see how many people bookmarked it.
Yeah, I would what?
Also, I keep getting paraplegics.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And they always do the same jokes. It's always the same when he says he likes to eat vegetables and it's a paraplegic celebrating.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was the one where it's like, it's a stitch of like somebody saying, I can't imagine anything worse than ... And then they cut to the like person and they're like, oh, look, I don't have an arm, so you shouldn't be complaining. Yeah. I don't know. I've seen that a bunch of times.
And also I should not have used this app after a new season of Stranger Things.
You got your fill of Kate Bush?
Yeah, man. It's
a great song. I'm honestly happy that it's like the internet loves it because it's such a great song.
It is, but I'm good now. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been used quite a bit in like TV and film. I guess nothing as popular as Stranger Things, but
yeah. I also think it's really lame to use it whenever somebody is literally running up a hill. I gotta say, it's like the cheesiest usage of it too. Like, okay, really?
A little bit on the nose.
Yeah. So that's been TikTok for me.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if you have anything going forward.
I'll try. I'll try. I gotta get around the fucking. Oh, that was the other thing. So, okay, I hate the text-to-speech. I hate it so much.
I'm just so used to it.
I hate it so much. This is my dog when he takes a shit. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it. I even looked in the settings. I was like, please, God, please let there be please let there be a setting to mute the text-to-speech.
No, it's like part of the video. It's like
I was praying. I was praying. I was praying that there was an option, because half the like, all right, you want to subtitle the video, fine, but why does there need to be a stupid text-to-speech voice for it? Why? Don't tell me it's for accessibility. It's not. It's not.
Well,
it's
potentially.
No, it's not, because the video itself usually is self-explanatory with its own audio 95% of the time. It's so unnecessary, and
you
it's
say
so
that,
annoying.
but then again, the only videos you're watching are ass videos. So
like honestly, if I know that there's text to speech, I don't watch the video. I don't.
Wow. Okay, you're missing out on a large chunk then, because there's a lot.
Oh, fucking well. And whenever people do their own TikTok voice where like they have to explain something, I hate that too. I hate it.
I really wish I had a text to speech video in my.
I hate it so much.
In my my handful of selections for this week.
When your dad drops the salami, like I hate it.
Excuse me.
Like it just like it's the text to speech that explains what's about to happen. You don't need that. You don't need that. I hate it.
So I have some TikTok videos.
Yeah, let me hit the button. Great.
So I want to start off with this one here. It's a clip. The account is at Mock Your God, but this is not like, this is just a reposting of this video. I don't know the original source. Carly Rae Jepsen, one of the greatest pop stars of our generation. I think you would agree.
Sure. I don't listen to her. I'm not gonna make any comments.
No, I purposely said that because I know you don't. No, but I'm a big fan. I have been for a long time. What I didn't realize is that her music is satanic.
Oh God. Who was that crazy ass dude who wrote that like 50-page thing?
Oh yeah.
And then he was an abuser.
Yeah, I forget his name, but he's made like some really shitty movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He was like got really obsessive about Carly Rae Jepsen's lyrics and basically wrote a dissertation pointing out the obvious themes that are that like run through a lot of her songs.
Yeah, and people are like, haha, this is quirky that he did this. And I'm like, this is really weird.
This is like, maybe you should consider a restraining order type behavior.
Yeah, this is like the shit that people do in the YouTube comments on music videos talking about MK Ultra. Like, this is like a problem. Like, and then it turned out he was
a problem,
a serial abuser. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, so you might remember her breakout hit "Call Me Maybe."
Of course.
Yeah, there are some underlying themes in that song I wasn't aware of. Let's take a listen.
Something went wrong. I hope this plays.
Hey, I just met you. This is crazy, but here's my number. Call me maybe. Let's look at those 4 phrases separately and see how God is revealing to us the name of the Antichrist. Hey, I just met you. Now the I in this case refers to the Antichrist. And just meeting you means that he is revealing himself. This is the Antichrist entrance into the end times. And this is crazy. That's the 7 years of tribulation. But here's my number. He is talking here about his number of the beast, which he is going to give to every one of us. So call me maybe. Now he is not saying call me on the telephone. What the Antichrist is saying here is, my name is maybe. Call me maybe. Nostradamus also called the Antichrist Mabus. Hey.
Call me Mavis.
Okay. Also, the fact that it has "Call Me Maybe" just looping in the background, is like a fever nightmare.
Wouldn't you want to have that not, or maybe that wasn't part of the original video? Maybe that was like thrown onto the TikTok. Because like, if you think this is like an evil song, wouldn't it be dangerous to be playing that in the background during your breakdown here?
Right. You
could be summoning the devil.
You know, I thought Jared Leto was really great in his role as Mabus. I thought he really brought something to it. You know, every great actor gets a turn, and it was his. Yeah. I wonder what they think of Arrested Development then.
Wait, why?
Because there's a character Maybe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh man, can really do a deep dive.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder what's hidden inside the banana stand.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought this is really funny. It's like the the most obvious, like projecting your own fears onto something. But
he looks like the dude looks like the guy from the My Bob's Furniture.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Now I think like if this were true, it just makes Carly Rae Jepsen even cooler.
Yeah,
you know, like this is not a negative.
Yeah, it
does make me want to maybe revisit some other Carly Rae Jepsen lyrics and kind of search for new meanings.
Sure. If I knew another song, I would reference one right here.
I didn't pull up any lyrics. I'm just kind of riffing on the spot.
If I knew another single song, I would reference it right here.
Yeah, well, the problem is that I do know many of them, but nothing comes to mind at the moment to really. So we have a rap battle.
Oh, okay.
This was billed in the captions as like the worst rap battle ever, and it really starts out pretty intriguing, and then it takes a turn, a turn that I certainly was not expecting, and by the looks on the faces of the crowd, you'll have to take our word for it, but the looks on the faces of people like watching this, they did not expect it either. So let's take a listen.
Yeah, this is fitting because we did have a segment we did once, the worst beats in the world.
Yes.
And I have found some really bad raps, and I thought about continuing it with some of those. So this is fitting.
The best way to advise you is to stay where your lights are, then take your eyes up so you'll have slight luck to survive like 5 months, avoid a side and not slide off inside your guts, and even if you think you're karma, you're still a bitch. I'm the fate decider. I'll run on empty, you fill your tank right up. It's my job to drain you in a cipher. You got a better chance of taming a tiger or raping a dyke like this off a face inside a gay nightclub, time cunt. Let's run up snakes, let's go. I'm sorry, little kids, but I'm a killer clown today. I could say bullets are gonna spray. I'm from Brooklyn. That's alright. But let me just say I like to get close and personal with a razor-sharp object. But let me just say this. I'm not gonna stab you in the heart. What I'm gonna do is grab a pen, stab you in the neck, puncture your lungs, then slam a blunt object into your stomach. Fuck. Blunt object into your stomach. And cause internal bleeding. Now, before you die, let me just say this. The reason I call myself Snipes is because I take my time to rhyme. I'm not complicated. But I'm like a sniper. I aim straight for the heart or the...
Wow.
Yeah, it's very threatening. I don't know if I'd call it a rap, though.
No, it just seems like a threat.
This is like the type of stuff you'd hear from like, you know, Mindhunter, where they're like interviewing the killers, like, how'd you do it? You know?
Yeah.
There is a part 2, continuing that one. By the way, these videos are courtesy, excuse me, of Drippy Snags, just in case you were wondering. Here we go. Here's part 2.
Complicated. But I'm like a sniper. I aim straight for the heart or the head. I'm straight and direct. I might hide 2Ks that way. You'll know when I hit you as soon as you hit the ground. But this guy said some shit on Facebook. Here we go, joke of the Dark Knight shit. So don't let me go all James Holmes on you, Dark Knight shooter. Is that a little bit too soon? Maybe. And let me just say this as well. If you want to be the Joker, why don't I give you a bottle of pills, a Chelsea smile, and instead of Heath Ledger dying, why don't you replace his death? Because nobody would give 2 shits about a guy who looks like a fucking meth head. What's wrong with that?
Did he rhyme once?
I don't think so. It's interesting. I'm fascinated by this because it sounds like they're like concepts that he came up with ahead of time, like the Dark Knight stuff.
Yeah.
But the execution is just so horrendous. Not to mention there are really no rhymes to be found here.
Yeah, I don't think he rhymes once.
And it's like I get the method of like taking your time. You know, he calls himself the sniper. Like that could be really cool. Like if you're very methodical and you kind of hit like a slow rhythm.
Yeah. Method man, if you will.
Yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny is that I couldn't understand the other guy who could actually kind of rap because he was Australian.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They both sound Australian, but it looks and sounds like this is like in Brooklyn.
Well, the guy that the Dark Knight Killer or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Says that he's from Brooklyn, but he is also Australian.
Mm-hmm. Also, context clues I figured out around when this was because he asked if it was too soon to reference the Colorado theater shooting.
Yeah, yeah. Or he's just saying that, and it is a decade later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Heath Ledger line was really not delivered well. It's like,
no.
You want just replace him in death.
Yeah, they just kind of let him keep going.
I mean, talking about blunt objects gouging your eyes out, who would want to stop him?
I don't know. He's saying all this shit, but I would not be threatened by this gentleman.
No?
No.
Would you take him on in a rap battle?
But I'd just laugh at him instead, and I think I'd win. Like, I don't feel like I'd have to say anything. I'd just laugh at him.
Mm-hmm. You'd sort of be beating him at his own game there. The methodical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. So I have one more here. So this is a video with an emerging new artist on the scene here. An abstract painter from an unexpected place.
Y'all, I saw this on Etsy. And this girl has a pet sloth, and she has her sloth paint something for everybody. Look. And this is a picture of her painting it. Oh. I'm gonna cry. Look. It's so cute.
Okay.
Yeah, so a sloth paints and and somebody sells the paintings on Etsy along with a picture of the sloth doing the painting. And it's like abstract like lines, different colors.
That's one way to put it.
Something you'd see in like a modern art exhibit.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You don't think there's I
think this is verging on animal abuse.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing. That's like one thing I was going to say. This is just unpaid labor.
Yeah.
Because you know that money's not going to the sloth.
Yeah.
And when you consider how long it takes for one of these paintings to be made.
I don't think it's the time spent doing the painting. I think it's the everything surrounding it. I think it's okay, so now you are dipping your sloth in paint and then sort of like shimmying it over a canvas to make some lines, and then you have to clean the sloth.
Well, we don't know if the sloth doesn't use a brush.
The sloth is not using a brush. The sloth is not using a brush. So like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this is tear-inducing art here.
Yeah, I think, okay, I don't want to be mean to this person, but
that's usually how you preface. Continue.
But like they got the Cindy Lou Who haircut, right?
I don't know who that is.
From the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course, sure.
That's a reference people should know. All right, that's a.
Oh, but Slipknot isn't.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
She's got the Cindy Lou Who. She's crying over a sloth. I don't know.
But she's supporting independent artists.
I think this whole thing's a grift. I think it's some bullshit. Look, here's a photo of the sloth doing the painting. Like, I don't know. I think it's some bullshit.
Well, that's as good as like a letter of authentication.
Okay. Like, what's the difference between this and a toddler just kind of like shitting out something, right?
Well, that's just mean. I think that's really dismissing the artistry on display here. There's some really sophisticated lines, some interesting use of color.
This is no. What this is do you remember like going to camp or whatever and you do that spinner art?
Sure, yeah.
So this is the spinner art before you put it in the spinner is what that is.
Yeah, but the spinner art wasn't made by a sloth.
I don't think this was either. So what's the difference? You paid, I don't know, $100 for this piece of shit.
We don't know how much was paid for it.
Too much. Too much. Too much at any price.
So did you not like my joke about it taking a long time because it gets sloth?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems a little unhinged to be this into this.
I would agree. Yeah, the level of excitement.
Yeah,
and like this is going on. This is like getting prime wall space too.
Yeah, it's like.
Do
okay,
you hang?
fine.
Do you hang the photo of the sloth next to the painting?
I guess, because then if you like have people over and
it's a
like,
conversation starter.
Did you do that? It's like, no, a fucking sloth did that. And they're like, oh yeah, your sloth? No, one from the internet. Oh, okay, yeah, man. that's normal. That's normal. I got one too.
See, the thing is, I'm hesitant to really make fun of this because like art is subjective. And it really comes down to what you take away from it and how you interpret it. So I think there's value here. I really do.
Hey, if you find joy in this, whatever. I just think it's a fucking racket.
I actually now am curious how much this costs. I don't know if they link to the Etsy store or anything.
Let's
I'm sure there aren't too many sloths making art on Etsy, so it would probably be pretty easy to find. Then again, you never know. This could be like a whole thing.
God, there might be. What is this? Sloth kisses? What the fuck? Animal artwork. This is like a whole fucking industry.
Oh, is it?
Various 14 by 18 animal paintings created by a variety of species from the zoo and aquarium. Alligator, leopard, box turtle, hedgehog, tiger.
Hedgehog.
And it's like I said, tiger. So they just fucking dip these poor things in paint and have them walk on. Well, these ones are like cardstock. This is even cheaper shit.
The hedgehog one is interesting because hedgehogs are known to, as they walk around, they just like freely piss and shit everywhere. So you'd have to think
there's a lot of yellow on this one.
Yeah, you'd have to think there's some elements of that mixed in.
There's a lot of yellow on the hedgehog, I'll tell you. There's another one, 8 by 10 animal paintings. Otter, tiger. This one even gives it names. All these, they know what they're doing here.
Do any of the paintings
Chinese water dragon?
Do they look like anything?
It looks like an animal walked over cardstock.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
So I do feel like there is some craft to the sloth painting. I want to give credit where credit's due.
You know what? I will say, yeah. After looking at these, yeah. Which
probably just lends itself to the theory of like this person just drew some lines and said that their sloth painted them. Yeah. So that's probably where we end up here.
Yes. And then the rest of these are just people who have painted sloths. Terrapin, dwarf caiman, a lot of alligators. Skink. What's a skink? That sounds like a slur. It's a lizard. Okay. See, like, why are you dipping a lizard in paint?
Yeah, it's not great.
Savannah monitor. What is that? That sounds like some kind of lizard also. Or maybe a snake. Arbor seal.
There's already, like, some questionable stuff going on at, like, aquariums. We don't really need to add this to it.
It's like, yeah, like, leave them alone. Leave them alone. But yeah, this is a whole fucking industry here on Etsy. You can fulfill your wildest dreams of having hedgehog shit on canvas.
So what's your cat up to?
See, that's the thing. I think a cat would be the easiest because they love just like walking and sitting on paper already.
Yeah, they're primed for it.
So, but I guess people want stuff from alligators and skinks. God. All right, I gotta get off Etsy.
I did have one more. This was kind of this isn't a serious one. Not that the other ones are serious.
The other ones are definitely serious.
No, there's this this TikTok account. This guy goes by Debruzinator, and it's his whole account is just like dance videos.
Of course.
And so people were throwing out some challenges. You know, like you can't do this one. You can't possibly choreograph a dance to this song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the videos, and this completely, of all the ones that don't work for audio, this is at the top of the list.
Sure.
This person, this commenter challenged him to dance to 4 minutes and 33 seconds by John Cage. Then this is the audio. It's playing currently.
Did he? So I don't know what this song is.
Oh,
supposed
you
to
don't
be.
know what this is? So this is a composer who famously made this song 4 minutes and 33 seconds with just ambient noise that was happening like outside of his studio. So you could like maybe hear a faint like faint like just ambient noise in the environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this guy is like popping and locking
to 4
like,
minutes and 33 seconds by John Cage. I just thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
Completely doesn't work for an audio podcast. But I include it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I got. Hopefully next time we do this segment, you'll have some good finds.
Yeah, I had some stuff. I had like
bookmarked.
I bookmarked them. I thought I'd be prepared, but TikTok is a bad platform. It sucks. It's real bad.
We should ban them from the United States.
Exactly. We got a ton of stuff for Beautiful Cinema, so
yeah,
probably just hop into that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful cinema.
Yes,
Great.
It is. I'm very, very interested in one of the things you put down here.
Yeah. So we'll get to our movie, but this week I watched a program that is it's quite popular, especially online. I watched HBO's Euphoria. Well, season
all of it?
one.
Season one. Okay.
Season one. And I wrote in here that I wanted to talk about like the prestigification and not prestidigitation. That's a different word. The prestigification of TV, because that's what I was feeling as I was watching this. And then I finished the season, and boy, is that thing a fucking mess, huh?
See, I kind of wish that I mean, obviously it's a lot for 1 week. I wish that you had seen the latest season, because that's fresh in my mind as the first season I watched like 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked the first season quite a bit. I really, really like the 2 episodes that are, that bridge the gap between season 1 and 2. So make sure you watch those. Those were made during the pandemic. And then season 2 is quite a mess.
It's messier than this?
Oh, for sure.
Howdy.
It's significantly worse, in my opinion.
Okay. God. Whew. Because, all right, so I was watching this and I'm thinking like, okay, this is basically CW, but rated R.
I mean, I guess that's fair. Although CW has a lot of legitimately good teen shows.
Yeah, fine, whatever. But like that's what this is. Like this is CW, but they show tits and dick.
I guess.
And rape and drug use.
To a degree.
Like that's what it felt like. Like the evil high school quarterback captain jock.
Oh yeah, no, he's a complete stereotype. Yeah,
and the relationship drama and like somebody's getting arrested.
Would you believe me if I said the jock kid takes center stage in season 2?
Oh,
yeah, there are some.
I thought that would be wrapped up.
There are some choices that are just pretty rough. Okay. But yeah.
Okay. Like that was the shit that I didn't care about. Like that was the shit I cared about the least.
Totally.
Was him and his wacko girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, though, like that Rue and Jules relationship is electric. Like that.
That was the only thing I was watching it for. By the
end.
It's
That's completely the core of the show, and
even as it got stupid, because they had to add some more drama towards the end for whatever reason.
I mean, I told you this, but my theory with it's not a theory, it's just like an observation, really, with Sam Levinson is that so he's basing the character of Rue on his own his own life, right? His own past, his issues with drugs and how that's affected him and the people around him and all that. And like for me, that's always that's like the strongest written stuff in the whole series, because it's like directly based on his own experiences. And like, especially in season 2, these characters that are on the periphery, they're given these like arcs that are just not compelling and really don't work on a lot of levels. And I feel it because like Sam Levinson is credited as the writer of every episode, writer and director of every episode. And I don't know like if that means there isn't like a proper like writer's room on this show, like there usually is, right? With television.
Usually, yeah.
But it really feels to me like a lot of the show's issues could be solved with just more voices in the writer's room.
Probably. But yeah, it's like, I don't know where like half this shit is going. And it's like, why do I care? Like, why do I care about the blonde chick and the other football player that's in college now?
Right.
Like, why do I care?
Yeah, no, I agree. And like her arc in season 2 is even worse. And like, we're talking about Sydney Sweeney, who I think is one of the best actors to come around in the last few years. Like, she's so good. And like, so much of this cast is phenomenal. Like, I think it's such a great cast, like such a great ensemble. And yet like the writing really doesn't hold up for a lot of these characters. Like there really isn't, it's either not compelling or it's like meant to be like provocative and doesn't really have anything to say about stuff. And like, I don't know, it just it kind of falls short in that department.
Yeah. Like the quarterback that's blackmailing everybody, you know, it's very CW, you know, like that kind of thing. Except here, they're like, he's like not blackmailing them because of some rich daddy or whatever or some shit. He's blackmailing over like child porn because this is HBO. You
will not believe how much of the focus of season 2 is on this guy.
Like, why?
I don't have much of an answer. I mean, it really goes into like the relationship with his father and the sort of like
I don't give a shit.
Generational like toxic masculinity and stuff like that. I don't give a shit.
I thought we covered that.
We did. Totally. Yeah.
I thought that would be done.
So are you planning to like continue on with this series?
I kind of wasn't, especially after that finale.
Yeah.
That finale was a fucking mess.
Oh my God. The finale is a 2-parter in season 2 and it's even more of a mess. It's like this, so like one of the characters who was on the periphery in season 1, Lexi, is...
Oh, the friend that had nothing to do?
The friend that had nothing to do, yeah. So they have her write a play for the school, and so the play, she's like basing it on herself and her family and her friends. So it's like basically everybody in the audience is looking at themselves on the stage, and that takes up 2 entire episodes. I hate this already. Yeah, it's such a mess. Like it just doesn't land for me.
That's something you might do like at a series finale kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Like there are moments that are really cool in it. Like obviously stylistically, the show is very interesting. Like aesthetically, it's pretty cool, you know?
It's too all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be.
No, I can see that too. Yeah. Which is part of what I really love about the 2 standalone episodes, the 2 episodes that were like that bridge the 2 seasons. They're so like minimalist in terms of like, so basically it's the first episode, the first of the 2 is just Rue and I forget Coleman Domingo's character's name, but like that's her like sponsor.
Oh, you mean the guy that disappeared in the second half of the season?
I guess so. Like it's been a while, but yeah. So it's just they're talking at a diner, and that's the entire episode, and it's so engaging. It's so smartly written. It's so compelling. And then the second episode is about Hunter Schafer's character, and she co-wrote the episode with Sam Levinson, and so much of it is about her own experiences and her own life and like being trans and all that. and it's reflected like in the character. But like both of these are examples of like writing what you know, essentially, like writing based off of your own experiences. And like stylistically it's toned down. You have like this big ensemble cast throughout the regular seasons, but in these cases they're just like very focused of like one or two character episodes. Like the second is Hunter Schafer, and like she's talking with her therapist, right? So they're so like stylistically different from what you would expect out of Euphoria, and they're just so good. Like if you're not gonna watch season 2, at least watch those 2 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend them highly enough. Like they're so good.
Yeah, because like the first season doesn't know what it wants to be. Like we have this narration that is meant to be the main character, but it's not. So we have that aspect going on where you say that at points where it's an unreliable narrator, but it's actually an omniscient narrator telling you about the rest of the characters. Yeah,
that continues on through all of season 2 as well.
That's such a fucking mistake. That should not be, especially whenever we can see everything. And it's doing the thing where it's like telling you without actually like it's telling you shit that we can see, and then it's also telling us shit that we can't see because it has to. Like we got character introduction episodes in like episodes 7 and 8 of the fucking first season after we'd already seen these characters so much.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we're going back to their childhood. It's like, what?
Well, I mean, that's a pretty typical TV thing, though.
No, it felt so out of place. It felt really out of place. Where we like had focused on these characters so much, and all of a sudden now we're going back to talk about how his daddy really pushed him hard in a Pop Warner football.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, we figured that already. Like, we didn't need a whole 30 minutes about this.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, I remember liking the first season for the most part, but I've really turned on it in season 2. Mostly because I'm just so frustrated with how good the cast is and how little some of them have to work with.
Yeah, and then there are episodes where, like, it breaks format entirely, where, like, then you have Rue talking to the audience in character, with the other characters. They like do the thing from the Popular music video where like they're explaining a thing like as a classroom, and then that never comes up again. And then there's the thing where she's playing detective, and that breaks the format of the show, and it's like, okay, but that never comes up again. And then, of course, the finale ends with a music video. It's like, what happened? What?
There's like a marching band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. I watched, the only thing of Sam Levinson's that I'd seen before the show was Assassination Nation, a film. And that movie also ends with a marching band walking down the street of like a suburban street.
Okay.
Yeah, more effective in that context than I think it was in the Euphoria finale, but I just thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, that definitely is.
But yeah, no, as far as like the Rue narration thing, I think it works really well when the narration is about Rue herself, but then like you said, it's used in like all contexts, and even somewhere it just doesn't even make sense. Like she wouldn't have been there or known about what these characters were doing at that time. Like it's just so strange that they use it
especially they use it early on, and then they explain away. She's like, I'm telling you about this, but I wasn't there. And it's like, okay. So then it's like, and then she says, I'm an unreliable narrator anyway. And it's like, okay, cool, thanks. But then later on, she's explaining people's childhoods in depth. It's like, oh, did we abandon the unreliable shit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine. But it's all over the place, and it's really, really dumb. But yeah, when she's talking about herself, it's fine. Like it makes sense, and it's whatever. Like they clearly wanted Zendaya to do narration because they wanted her to be the focal point, but like it's really it doesn't fit. The writing doesn't work with it.
She's so insanely good though as the character, like in the show, apart from the narration, like just as Rue the character.
Yeah,
just incredible.
Yeah, like I don't even get like I don't even get why this is an ensemble cast, to be honest with you. I don't get why these episodes have this long run time. I don't get why there's all this focus on these other characters. Like,
well, that's the thing, right? So in season 2, I know you haven't seen it, but season 2, it does feel like they are just finding things to do for some of these characters just because they have them around, and it doesn't do any justice to, like, it's unnecessary.
It already felt like that in the first season. It's like these people were like, they were kind of loosely friends. Like they didn't really feel like it. They knew each other. They kind of all sat together at that dance, but they weren't really friends. Like I don't know. It was,
and you know, like we're kind of leaning towards like, you know, bashing this more than anything, but at the same time, I have to say, like, it's never not engaging when I'm watching it, except for the season 2 finale. The whole play thing really lost me. Aside from that, like the show is, I'm always like engaged while watching it. Like there's enough. It's like stylistically interesting enough. The acting is good across the board and to keep you interested in it. Like, so like I still like, I don't know. It's still, there's something about it that's still, maybe it's the provocative nature of it.
That's the other thing that like where I feel where it's being provocative for its own sake. And I guess this has changed now with the response to the second season. But like every so often there seems to be like a show that's about teenagers or whatever, and like it comes out and people are like, oh, this is an important one, right? This is saying something. And you know, this means something to the culture, right? And like what was that show about suicide?
Oh God, yeah, 13 Reasons Why. Yeah,
that one where it came out and people were like, oh, this is important. It's like, oh yeah, teenagers need to watch this one.
I don't remember that being the response. I remember the opposite.
Yeah,
like this is potentially romanticizing suicide.
No, that's what younger people were saying.
Oh,
older people are saying, oh yeah, this seems to be important for kids to, you know, get. And so like parents should watch this with their kids and like talk about it. And like my mom like fell for that trap where she watched it with my brother. And he was like, this is just a bad TV show. And so then like people quickly realize like that's like, oh, this is just a bad TV show. That's kind of what this is, especially as it drags out and especially since it gets popular and like needs another season because that's what the network says that it needs.
I think it had like at least 3.
God in heaven. Yeah. But like I feel like that's a similar thing here where it's like, oh yeah, this is talking about you know, mental health and, you know, drug abuse and, you know, sexual assault, like on all these, you know, provocative, you know, taboo topics and all this shit. And it's like, no, I think it's just being provocative for its own sake. Like I felt weird just with the amount of nudity. Like, and I'm not trying to be like prude or whatever, but it's like, wait, these are supposed to be like high school juniors.
I mean,
And we're just, I know the actors are obviously of age, otherwise they'd be manufacturing child pornography.
Of course,
but like, we're just seeing them have sex constantly. And like, we're just seeing dicks constantly. Like there was that whole locker room scene where the dude, like camera shots of dicks just like for like a minute and a half. I'm like, okay.
Well, isn't that more of a response to what HBO, especially a few years ago, was doing?
Yes, of course.
It would never show, like, it would always show like female nudity.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. But then it's like, you look at the context of this show and it's like, okay, these are 16-year-olds. It's like, oh, all right. Doesn't this feel weird?
Not really, because all the actors are like in their mid-20s.
Okay, but then it's like, is this in any way potentially adding to the over-sexualization of minors?
If it is, I don't think it's the show doing it. I think it's just like people who already sort of like, I don't know. I don't think it's the show's responsibility to.
Really?
Yeah, because like over-sexualization comes from
like with the rampant nudity.
Yeah, I don't.
And like a character that becomes a sex worker underage.
I mean, stuff like that. It's meant to, like, I don't know. I think there is a tendency to, like you said, to sort of, like, what's the word? Like, looking at a show's, like, importance, quote unquote, to, like, sort of, look at it as more important than it is. Cause ultimately it's just a TV show, right? It's entertaining. It's in some ways thought provoking, in other ways, not really.
Right.
But like, I don't know. I'm just like rambling here, but
that goes back to like my whole, like, this is just a CW show thing.
Yeah, but you say that, but that's a little bit like what does that mean to be a CW show?
Like it's overly dramatic about the lives of teenagers played by actors well over the age. You know?
Okay.
Like it plays with these. Well, it doesn't really play with them. It uses these tropes of high school and teenage life and just kind of has provocative drama based around that. The difference here is that, like, you know, in a CW show, like, you have all the relationship drama, people cheating, blah, 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 backstabbing, all kinds of shit where the intimacy is implied. Here, since it's HBO, you see it.
I guess my thing is like a TV show can tackle aspects of adolescence. Like I think a lot of the response, especially when the show first came out, was like, oh, this is talking about stuff that's fairly taboo, like in society, right?
Yeah.
Which I agree with. Like I think it was doing that, and I appreciated that about it. Whether you think the end result is like successful or not, that's debatable, but. And I don't think it's like contributing to over-sexualizing kids, because it's just telling stories about adolescence and things that do happen like in real life.
Sure. Right? I don't know.
You're kind of sounding like a conservative, like old conservative. We've got to protect our children from what's on the TV.
I don't think it's an issue of the kids seeing it and emulating it. I think it's an issue of adults seeing it and continue to sexualize minors.
It's more of like a societal thing. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. But isn't that on the adults and not on the show? Like the adults are taking that away from it. That's on them.
But like at the same time, it's adults that are creating the show, right? Like you could say that these are stories of adolescence, but it's an adult decision to have the character that's 16 years old be fully nude in the show.
Yeah. Something else I had in the show notes that I watched this week, and I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it or not, but I watched the movie Elephant from 2003, Gus Van Sant's movie about a school shooting. I don't know if you're familiar or not.
No.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I saw it. It was just like this random TikTok video, and somebody had it like a poster of it behind them, like in the background. That wasn't even what the TikTok was about. I'm like, oh, it just caught my eye. I'm like, oh, what's that? So I looked it up on Letterboxd, and it turns out it was inspired by Columbine. And so you could almost say the same thing with this movie. It's like, oh, is this not just like adding, like, is this not going to give kids the idea to shoot up a school? Which I don't think is true.
Again, that's the same thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying no, it's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
I'm not saying that this is going to influence kids to become sex workers. I'm saying that this is going to continue to like lead to weird dudes seeing a 16-year-old as the same as an 18-year-old. Like, you know what I mean?
I do. I guess when I watch that show, I'm not even thinking about that distinction, which might speak directly to the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, because it's like, obviously the actors are in their 20s.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, this is a show about a bunch of kids in high school. And it's like, yes, these are situations that happened. Yes, these kids are taking nudes. Yes, they're having sex. But it's like, okay, does an adult audience need to see that accurately reflected in fully nude sex scenes? Like, we get it. Like, and okay, I might sound like a prude, you know? But it's like that level of provocation, I just feel is leading to minors being continually sexualized.
Yeah, I just struggle with whether that's the show's fault or not. Because, like, I think
but it's the show doing it.
Right, but like any responsible, reasonable adult will not be their takeaway from the show. So if you have an issue, like if you have a problem where you already see children that way, or if your mind is already going there, I mean, is that the show's fault? Like, you seem to have your own issues that you're sort of like...
It's the same issue, like, whenever you talk about people having a platform. This is a show that has a platform, especially whenever you're a show that, like, you think that you're going to talk about big issues. You're a show that is going to talk about children in sexual situations.
Yeah, but this show never, like, they never had, like, a mission statement that this was going to be that.
If you have content warnings at the beginning of your show, and then at the end of your show, you have... a list of resources for the audience, then I think you do have a responsibility.
Well, that's the network, isn't it? And that you see that on a lot of things.
I think that this show in particular also attracts a younger audience.
Sure.
Where those content warnings are, like, I don't want to say necessarily targeted, but it's there for them, right? Especially with the content in the show. And so, like, the fact that if you are going to talk about these issues and you're going to reach that wide of an audience, I think you do have a responsibility. That is your platform, whether you intended to or not. That is just what happens. You're on a extremely popular platform,
as Spider-Man once said, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I disagree with you. It's definitely interesting to think about. I think part of it too comes down to, like, how effectively were these issues handled by the show, and I think a lot of that comes back to Sam Levinson. It's like, oh yeah, the stuff that he's basing on his real life, that's very nuanced. it's very true to like his experience, and it's handled with a lot of care. But then you have other things like maybe the sex work or whatever the other like characters are doing. Maybe there isn't as much nuance there.
Right.
So,
but anyway,
great soundtrack though.
Yeah, a lot of bass going through my system during that show.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think all the episode titles are named after like, I want to say like 90s hip hop, maybe early 2000s.
Yes. One was definitely Snoop Dogg.
Point though, I remember Zendaya on Twitter, because like she knows that her fan base is younger in general, and like so she basically took it upon herself to come out with like almost like a content warning before the second season aired. She's like, if you're a fan of me and my work, you don't feel like you are obligated to watch Euphoria just because I'm in it, because it does cover a lot of like really serious things.
Yeah,
it's okay to be a fan of me and skip this one, essentially, is what she was saying. So yeah, she at least felt that there was some level of responsibility there, right?
Right. Yeah.
And she took that outside of the show itself, which is interesting.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's like having it at the beginning of the show or whatever, that's just like a basic, sort of thing.
My thing is like the show isn't glorifying any of the stuff that it's exploring, right?
Not really. Like, but that's where I can't like, except for the sex scenes to me.
Okay.
So that's where I'm like, all right, but the issue is like you have to think about the situations. It's like, okay, two teenagers, fine, right? Adult and a teenager, not fine.
Right.
Adult and adult, fine. Like you have to do mathematics in your head, and then it's like, okay, fine, these are two teenagers, but it's like, all right, well, why is like this is being shot so like passionately or whatever, and it's like, okay, but these are teenagers. We're seeing everything.
But the example you're talking about, adult and teenager, like that's a major like plot. That one,
of course it is. Of course,
and it's the whole point of it is that it's wrong, and there's a whole attempt to like cover it up and everything.
Yes, those ones are shot differently. Yes.
Yeah.
They are. But there are other ones where it's just like, okay, this is just like a sex scene you'd see in a movie. Except,
I mean, people were making jokes about Sam Levinson when season 2 was airing about how like every scene would there'd be nudity with like every Sydney Sweeney scene.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
In season 1, it felt like it.
So yeah, like I guess there is an argument there to be made, like how much of it is necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at that point, like what is it adding to the show? What is it adding to the story? And what is it taking away if it's not there? Like what is its purpose, right? Like you make the argument for like the locker room scene, and that is to balance out the imbalance of female to male nudity,
right?
But
that is out of context with what you're actually seeing in this show. Yeah,
right. It's a high school boys locker room. Like.
But at the same time, though, like that's a locker room that exists. Like that's
of course,
right?
But you don't have a camera in there.
Okay, fair.
Like
yeah.
So this is just like what I was thinking during some of these scenes. It's just like, okay, like, and then maybe I just sound like like a prude, like I'm but I don't know, like I as an almost 30-year-old dude, some of this stuff feels weird.
Is it exploitative is the question, right?
Yeah.
Which it kind of, some of it can be, for sure. Yeah. It's the main thing that frustrates me with Euphoria is there's a lot that I really love about it, and then there's stuff that just is baffling to me. And a lot of, like, most of the issues I have with the show come down to the writing. Like, I'd love to see a version of the show that had more voices involved with the writing, other than just, like, written and directed by Sam Levinson. Like, obviously, this is very much... It's like stylistically, it's his show, aesthetically, all that. But
I did see, isn't it based off of some kind of?
Oh yeah. There was like some, I want to say European movie or show that is loosely based off of. I don't think it has much in common with it though.
Yeah. Israeli. It's an Israeli TV series.
Okay.
Set in the 90s.
Oh, interesting.
Also, HBO should get
spend their time, rights to it.
Yeah, spend their time carelessly having sex and taking drugs with seemingly no parental authority. Adults appear in the series only rarely and are always filmed at an angle that obscures their faces.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I almost want to see that show.
Yeah, 1 season, 10 episodes. Anyway, So yeah, Morbius.
Oh, right. So this is gonna feel like deja vu, but Morbius has bombed at the box office for a second time.
What year is it?
Right, exactly. I just think this is such a funny story because, like, you know, obviously Morbius came out like a couple months ago at this point, and it didn't do well. I think it earned just like a fraction of the production costs. And then it went to like VOD, as all films do. And, you know, you would think that would be that, right? But, you know, this movie became a meme on the internet. Not because people were like watching it really, or like thought it was good or worthwhile, or especially not because they were going to the movie theater to see it. Right. It just is one of those things that people were making fun of because that's what happens on social media. And it was funny up until the point where Jared Leto got involved, and then it just died. But executives at the studio completely misread this situation, and they thought that this renewed interest in the movie would translate to box office numbers if they put Morbius back in theaters, which they did last weekend. And it made, in that weekend, the second opening weekend for Morbius in over 1,000 theaters across the US, $300,000.
Seems high.
I mean, it does, but it also doesn't when you consider this is like a blockbuster Marvel studio, you know, not Marvel Studios, but Marvel big studio movie. Yeah, it bombed a second time, which is hilarious. I don't know how you look at these like hashtags and the memes and think that people are going to want to go pay money to see this movie.
Because they just saw like Morbin trending. And really thought that people were like, they thought that this was like their release the Snyder cut. They really thought that was, they had it. Even though you could just watch the movie at home if you wanted to. Yeah. I don't think a single person, like even through all the memes, was actually asking for Morbius to go back to the theater. No. I don't think a single person. It does speak to like how out of touch studios can be when it comes to the quote unquote theater experience. And you make it go against something like Top Gun. Right. Like it didn't stand a chance. Yeah. I think it's like, because when Jared Leto tried to kill the meme by participating in the meme, he seemed to have at least gotten it, I guess. So like clearly they didn't talk to him about this whole thing. Well, could they reach him on his island? Maybe not. Maybe not. Although he clearly has an internet connection because he posted that fucking TikTok. It's true. So. But yeah, I it was just like, it was clear that like it was going to soon die off because it was reaching like Harambe status where people were just saying like Morbin over and over again. Are you Morbin? I'm Morbin. Morbius. Like just kept saying, like that was like the level that it was reaching. And then Jared Leto attempted to kill it entirely just by, you know, doing anything related to it, just acknowledging it. But then this happened, and then everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's funny again. Look what they did." So, but yeah, that's all I had to say about it. I just think it's a real misread there by the men in suits. Definitely. But speaking of vampire-related content, oh, nice segue. Thank you. We have a movie for this week. We watched Irma Vep, the 1996 Olivier Assayas movie that is now a HBO limited series. Which this was a rewatch for me because I'd seen it a few years ago. I actually watched it when they originally announced that HBO series. And yeah, rewatching it this time, like this movie's amazing, I think. Like it is, there's just like a lot to it. Like you have Maggie Cheung, who's phenomenal. You have like this commentary on French cinema. Like you have like the studio versus art house. You have directors losing their minds. You have like this parody of this failed remake of a movie, and it sort of defies explanation in some ways, but it also kind of makes perfect sense at the same time. Like it's a weird film, and it kind of just works for me. And I'm just so fascinated and interested to see what they do, because Olivier Assayas is directing this new limited series as well. So I'm just like so fascinated to see what they do with it. But I'm really curious what you thought about this movie. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was I do struggle with movies about movies.
I know, and I keep bringing them out. I feel like it's a common theme. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's not entirely intentional on my part.
And this is also a French movie about the state of French movies
in the 90s.
In the 90s.
Yeah. But a lot of it holds, though, I think.
Yeah, I had very little context, but it did hold, especially whenever they start talking about, studio and art movies and Batman, yeah, and Maggie Cheung, who's playing a fictionalized version of herself, says something like, well, there can't just be one kind of movie. And it's the same debate that is going on Twitter at this very second between the Martin Scorsese defenders and the Marvel stands.
Yes.
So,
boy, did that interviewer have an agenda or what?
Yeah,
I love that.
Those are some loaded fucking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, but then it's like him not realizing entirely that the only reason why this, like the movie that he was on the set of was happening was because the director saw Michelle Pfeiffer in the Catwoman suit and wanted to remake a silent movie with Maggie Cheung in a cat suit.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think this director, Olivier Assayas, I'm going to say his last name differently every time I pronounce it. I think that's correct. Made this pretty early in his career. This movie about Maggie Cheung going to France to work with an aging film director who's kind of like on his last legs with the craft and like kind of losing his mind. So it feels like something that should be a later stage movie, right? In like a filmography, but it's not. Which is another reason why I think it's so interesting to see what he would do with this now, like at this stage, like, I don't even, like 20 years later, 20 plus years later. But yeah, like there is a lot that's like specific to France in the 90s. And like, this is kind of, he really enjoys having his characters talk about the movie industry. Cause I watched one of his more recent movies from like the last decade, Clouds of Sils Maria with Kristen Stewart. And that movie is basically like, hey, look at these creatively bankrupt superhero movies.
Sure.
Like that's so much of that movie is about that. So it's kind of like Olivier has been he's been like bashing the superhero movies before it was cool to do so, you know? This movie's funnier, I think, than I remembered it being, especially when it comes to the directors. Cause the one director leaves, he goes to like a
sanitarium.
Yeah. And then this other director comes in to replace him. And that scene at like the diner is just wild. Like it's so good because he's like yelling. He is coming on to replace him and he is baffled by why the first director would choose Maggie Cheung for the role. Seemingly for racist reasons.
Yeah, because Irma Vep, the character, has to be French.
So he's talking to
because she is France. It's very nationalistic.
Yeah, exactly. So he's called up this other actor who is French, and she's also cast in the movie. But he wants to recast her as Irma Vep and like toss Maggie Cheung aside. And he's like at the diner yelling at her. He's like, why Maggie Cheung? Why Maggie Cheung? Yeah. And it's just like the funniest thing. And she's just looking at him like, and like so much of this movie is like people trying to handle these directors, right? Like trying to manage them and like communicate with them and around them. Because they're both like very, very difficult. And that's like where a lot of the comedy comes from too.
Yeah.
Cause I'm assuming like these reflect people that, Olivier has like encountered. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know? One thing that was really interesting though is that Maggie Cheung, at one point she's like, yeah, I really understood Rene, that director, the first director. She's like, nobody else got him, but I understood what he was going for and what he was saying. What did you make of that?
I don't know because I couldn't understand him.
Yeah.
Because he had a very, very, very heavy accent. And he would speak to Maggie Cheung in English. So anytime he was actually not speaking French, I had a very difficult time understanding him.
Irma Vep.
Yeah, Irma Vep. So I don't know what she meant. I guess that they both wanted to make this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe for different reasons, but they at least had that common ground. And towards a certain point, she was getting more and more into the character.
Yeah. Sometimes literally.
Yeah. So I suppose that's what she meant.
Yeah, that makes sense. And speaking of her getting into the character, that whole sequence, so she's visiting Renee after he has like this outburst where the police arrive and stuff. He has like this argument with his wife.
Yeah.
I
have to, I appreciated just the difference. So this is like a domestic dispute. And so the firefighters arrive first, which I think is an interesting, just a dichotomy from how things are handled over here.
Oh God, yeah.
and then the cops show up after the firefighters.
I mean, if this was America, they would have ended up arresting the wife because the husband yelled at her. But yeah, no, like that whole sequence where she finishes speaking with him and then she goes to leave and she's like, oh, this way's quicker. So she just like leaps out the window over the railing into the cab. And then you're thrust into this like sequence that she's wearing the Irma Vep suit and she's like doing some method acting around her hotel. And she goes in and steals this necklace just for the sake of it, just to like sort of inhabit the character. I thought it was such a cool and such a really well directed like sequence.
Yeah.
Like, the transitions and everything.
So if you think about it, this movie contains 3 remakes of the original silent film.
Okay.
So it has the shot-for-shot remake that the original director makes.
Yes.
And then screens and says that it's shit and is terrible and it's fucking garbage and he keeps saying fuck you to that guy. Then the movie itself contains a remake where Maggie Chung is method acting and sneaking around her hotel in character. Because that's basically what the original silent film was.
Yeah, there's really not much to it.
So that's basically one remake. Then at the end, it has the edited postmodern version that the director had chopped up from that original footage.
That's like an FU to everybody, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so cool.
Yeah.
So there are like 3 different, And how many will there be in the new series? Because you're already remaking this movie. So that adds a 4th potentially. But yeah, so interesting in that way, like the layers of it. And like so much of the commentary on like the movie industry, it's also like self-aware too, because it's kind of speaking directly to what they're doing in this film, right?
Yeah.
With like movies for the quote unquote intellectuals and like, rehashing, like why not make something new? Why remake stuff that's already been made? Like what else are you going to bring to it?
Yeah.
Which like the concept of like the original Less Vampires or whatever, the Irma Vep story is so interesting to me because it's like such a nothing thing.
Yeah.
Like I guess you could describe, like one character describes it as like visual poetry, the way the characters move around the house and kind of interact with each other in like the silent film. But like other than that, it's kind of empty. And so you have like this director sort of projecting his own ideas onto it, and the actors bring their own sort of stuff to it. And it's like, it's almost like this vessel, right? That they can bring their own creativity to, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, like none of the cuts that came out of the movie within the movie are things I would actually want to sit down and watch.
Right. Yeah. Because it was just a silent movie from, 100 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like inserting their own significance and meaning onto it. But yeah, I'm glad I revisited this. I do love it quite a bit. Did you have anything else?
No, I thought it was pretty funny. Just like every interaction between Maggie Chung and the stylist that like that became like her chauffeur and friend, especially at that party, was really funny. And
potential love interests at various points.
Yeah.
But yeah, so okay, so I had 2 potential things for next week, because like if you didn't like this movie, I was going to suggest like something completely different. But if you did, I was going to suggest maybe like the first 2 episodes of the new Irma Vep series to kind of watch and compare and look at.
How many episodes is it going to be?
I know it's a limited series, so it's only one season. I want to say like 6 or 8, somewhere around there.
Are you sure you don't want to wait for all of them?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that. So we'll hold off on that then.
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, do you want to watch The Northman?
Sure. Is it out on VOD finally?
Yeah, it's actually on Peacock of all places.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the new Robert Eggers, director of The Witch and The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Very much an unmissable filmmaker, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we could do that for next week.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that. I didn't know it was. Well, obviously I didn't know because it was on fucking Peacock.
I know. It's a platform seller.
Yeah.
I will pay the 1 month subscription, which amounts to the same cost as a movie rental, because that's what it will be. No, they do have some series on there that I think are overlooked just because they're on Peacock and nobody really has it.
Demi Lovato Ghost Hunting show.
Oh God, you know what? That is on there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see. We might have to. We might have to give that a look.
Come for the Northman, stay for the Demi Lovato Ghosts.
Did I tell you I'm watching a season of The Real World from 21 years ago?
What are you doing?
Yeah. So they have... I used to really love The Real World. I watched it all the time, like as a kid and stuff, or as a teenager. And they haven't had like a new season in a number of years, but they've brought it back in a really cool way, which is it's called The Real World Homecoming. And it's basically getting the cast from ages ago back together to live in a house. So I'm watching. So the latest one is the cast of The Real World New Orleans from like 2001-ish.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm watching that original season, and then I'm going to jump right into 21 years later, which I think is so interesting. I just like it as a concept. I think it's really cool. It should be pretty surreal to like, because that's like, that's half these people's lives. Like they were like 21, 22 at the time, and now they're in their mid 40s.
Sure. And
like this season is pretty fascinating, honestly, because like this one girl is from BYU and she's Mormon, and so going on The Real World could potentially expel her from her college, but she's doing it anyway, and so that's really interesting. This other guy, so the entire first episode, this guy was alluding to a secret that he has, and literally the secret is just that he's gay.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's 2001, so that's like a setup that they can drag out for an entire episode, which I think is so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm into it. I think it's a fun show.
What about the Real World Road Rules Challenge?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because so Big Brother's coming back in July.
Of course.
And CBS, because MTV and CBS are both under Paramount, CBS is doing its own version of the challenge, featuring reality people from like Big Brother and Survivor and Amazing Race and stuff. So there's going to be like a ton of Big Brother people on it. So I'm actually going to be watching the challenge for the first time because there's people I know on it. So
people that you know, like the back of your hand.
Like, yeah, I mean, you watch them on the live feed, you feel like you know who they are.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And also Big Brother Canada was just renewed for another season, which
of course it was.
Well, it's never a sure thing over there because a lot of Canadian shows don't make it to the double digits in terms of seasons. Like this is going to be season 11 for Big Brother, and it's kind of an outlier in that regard. So it's because it's so good. People are catching on.
Sure.
But yeah.
Should we wrap this one up?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at DeadEndRoad. Check out the Facebook at facebook.com/DeadEndRoadTV, twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV. I've been thinking about trying to, if there's some way that I can, just have episodes playing on the Twitch.
Oh,
so if
interesting.
If somebody's bored, they could just like hop on and it'll just like be auto playing old episodes.
Yeah, because there really isn't a lot to watch on Twitch.
Yeah.
You know, so if you've got nothing to do, no. Seriously though, I do think that's a good idea.
So yeah, I got to figure that out. If I can to see if I can have that running on my computer or something, or yeah, I got to figure that out. So that might be something I could do. Do YouTube search for DeadEndRoad TV and it'll get you there. And email us anything at all. Like if you watched 1996's Irma Vep.
Or 2001's Real World.
2001's Real World. I wonder which is more likely. You can email us at video@deadendroad.co and check the episode description for the Discord server link if you would like to contact us that way. That'll be in the episode description when this goes
Do you
live.
like Slipknot? Is the question
Slipknot?
Of the week.
Do you not like Slipknot, but you own the t-shirt?
That's a better question. That'll really zone in on the real meaning of this.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking a survey. I'm going to be compiling the results, and I'll write a dissertation.
It's a sociological experiment.
It is. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We'll check you next week.